What's up everyone? Karu here from My Tennis HQ. Hope you guys are doing great. And today we're going to talk about how you can make better contact with the tennis ball over and over, just good solid contact. And to do so, I'm going to have a little bit of help. A few videos ago I said that I was going to bring a person to the channel to help me with some of these instructional videos, since we're going to focus more on instructional content this year. His name is Walter Predickman. He was my coach for a while I was playing on the tour. He's been coaching for hundreds of years. He's gonna hate me for saying that, but he has so much experience, and just has the little nuggets of knowledge that with whatever topic that I like to discuss with him, sometimes that I'm struggling with, or I'm struggling with coaching a certain thing, I'll talk to him, and he just gives me that little piece of information that is a bit eye-opening. So here's how this video is going to work. First, we're going to cut back to an on-court footage of me and Walter working on this topic. We got together to help you sort of come up with a little lesson of how you can train this, and some of the things that you should think about when trying to improve your contact with the ball. Then after that, we're going to cut back to me, where I'm going to develop a little bit in some of the things that we talked about it on court with Walter. So I want to dive a little bit deeper in some of the details, show some slow motion of the things that we're talking about. So first, again, the lesson is just sort of like how him and I would go out and practice back when we were together as coach player, and then me explaining a little bit more about this topic. And I think after this video, you're going to find it much easier to actually make good contact with the ball. And just before we cut back to the on-court footage, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. It really helps us. Again, we're seeing a lot of growth. We can't thank you enough for supporting the channel. We're super pumped for this year, for all the content we're going to put out. And if you are going to buy something on Tennis Warehouse, there's a link below that gives us a little bit of a commission and no cost to you. So we have a Tennis Warehouse link and an Amazon link down below. Really helps the channel. So let's go right to the core and learn how to make better impact with the tennis ball.
Okay guys, I see a bunch of people really concerned about the quality of your strokes, and I like to go one step back and focus on the quality on your contact point. So I go back when I was a little kid and I started playing tennis, and my first teacher used to be very careful with that. And he explained me a little story like this. He says, this is a bomb, this is a wall, and this is your house. If the ball passes the wall, it's going to explode in your house. What he meant by that, I didn't understand quite good at that time, but I need to maintain a contact point in a place that I can see the ball and have space for my racket to work. So we get to know that, developing that thought a little higher level, that the size or the length of our take back, our backswing, is proportional how much the ball is getting close to you. So obviously, the bigger backswings, the better strokes, because this is like a pendulum. The more weight this way, the more weight that way. That's why the pro players, they play with such a heavy rackets. So the weight goes back and forth. But sometimes we see the ball coming close to us and we're going with big swings here. We have we call it dirty contact point. So usually we can see that clean contact points generates clean strokes. And when you have a dirty contact point, a late contact point, or even too far from you, you start adjusting during the stroke just to correct the trajectory of the ball. You don't take advantage of the situation. So this is a regular neutral ball. This is his regular take back. Now I can do a little higher ball close to him. Higher ball close to him. Higher ball close to him. Now I can do a fast ball a little lower. And if he needs to move to the side, he's going to start already done with his racket back. Move to the side with the racket back. So we see that we have a lot of different situations, but his contact point is always the same. We can do some backhands also. So we can do a neutral ball in the backhand, neutral ball in the backhand. We can do a high ball close to him in the backhand, and we can do a fast ball to his backhand. So remember, it doesn't matter speed of the ball, height of the ball, or pace of the ball. You need to adjust to the ball. The ball is not going to adjust to you.
Okay, so that was Walter. Again, super knowledgeable guy. He's going to help me a lot in some of his instructional videos. We're always talking tennis, so I really appreciate his help and giving him his time. If you want to follow him on Instagram, I'm gonna put his Instagram handle here somewhere. But let's unpack a little bit of what he just said. I think that concept of, as funny as it is, and maybe silly actually, about the ball not entering your house and exploding, it might be very simple and almost like childish, but sometimes we gotta make it as easy as possible. Tennis is very difficult. We all know tennis is difficult. And the only reason, people like me make it look a little bit easier is because we've been doing for hours a day for many years. Like many people don't have that privilege of going on the court as much as I did my entire life. Now, why is that important for you to think about this kind of concept of not allowing the ball to get to a certain position? What I see from a lot of amateurs, from my experience, just seeing amateurs play, or even juniors, high level, mid-level juniors, is that there's a lot of focus on what's happening behind them, meaning the technique, how my technique is, my form, my wrist lag, my looseness, like all this million things, where the focus should be in what's happening in front of you. So where the ball is going, the direction the ball is going, where the ball is going to bounce, with what spin the ball is coming to me, all these things will pretty much guide you into doing what you need to do behind you, meaning your backswing. So if the ball is slow and high, I'm going to have to take a little bit more time, maybe to have my take back a little bit higher. If the ball is coming a bit faster and deeper, I'm going to have to do my C shape, my swing a little bit quicker, just so I catch the ball in front. So again, the focus too much in the back isn't really telling you what to do. The ball is telling you what to do. And the ball is not, like Walter said, the ball is not going to adjust to you. You have to adjust to the ball, and that's key to make good impact in contact with the ball. So building on this thought of not allowing the ball get to a certain position, that you're always going to catch it all the way in front of you, there's one thing I want you to focus on. That is that, I will call it this way. I'm sure there's the right name for it, but this is what a coach of mine back in the day would say in Portuguese, and I'm just going to sort of translate it into English. But focusing on the enter of the racket into the contact and the exit of the racket as it's pushing the ball away from the string. So the entry and the exit of the contact, not necessarily just the contact, just making the contact in front of you, but how your racket is entering the ball and exiting the ball. I think that's a really key thing that you have to keep it in mind to make good contact. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a few slow motion shots from the footage you already seen, but breaking it down a bit slower and showing you how, regardless of how the ball is coming towards me, my entry and exit of the ball, it's typically the same. I'm not going to say always, because nothing is ever perfect in tennis, but the way I do it allows me to hit the ball sort of the same way, same contact and impact over and over, because I'm looking to entering and exiting the ball the same way, regardless of how the ball is hit to me. So let's just jump right into that. I'm going to break down a little bit, and then we'll reconvene here in a second.
Okay, so let's develop a little bit on this concept of entering the contact and exiting the contact always the same way. So if we go back to what Walter said, first of all, we need to make sure that we're catching the ball in front of us, right? We're right here. We're not allowing the ball to enter our house. Like he said, we don't want that bomb to explode in front of us. And with our eyes pointed at the ball. We're behind the ball. You see my body is behind it, and I'm able to use my body to create the power and the topspin that I need. Now, if we look at my racket path, we'll go slowly here. You see that I'm always coming from just a little bit lower than the ball. So the ball line is right here. My racket is moving a bit lower, but to a higher point. Nice and slowly. And then it will obviously move up and around towards my finish. Now, what happened here on this shot is going to happen in pretty much every shot that I hit. So let's go slowly here. We'll see that, the line of the ball around here, and my racket coming from just a bit lower to get it up there. So my enter to the contact is always in a small trajectory up, right, which allows me to create topspin, and the contact is always in front here, not allowing the ball to enter my house. Now, you gotta make sure that to do this, obviously you need good footwork. You need to be on the court a lot. There's a lot of variables to this, but I am looking to do this on every single shot that I hit. Even if I'm hitting a ball that, for example, comes higher, so like right here, it's a higher ball. You see I took my racket back a bit more, but my racket and the ball, the contact will be pretty much the same, where I'm entering, moving the ball, moving up, right, a little bit below the line of the ball, and then I will move my racket upward. So that's a constant, that is not changing. I am the one adjusting to the ball that is hit to me in order to do that every single time. If it's coming fast, if it's coming slow, if it's coming high, if it's coming low. So that is my goal, to keep making that enter and exit at impact the same. And if I'm able to do that, I feel like I'm in a good place. Now, my racket path I'm not saying it's perfect. It's just the one I am comfortable with. This is how I play tennis. I play a little more through, and that's how usually my racket is going to move towards the ball. But for you, it might be a little bit different. You might be more of a low to high player. That's okay. Just make sure, however you're comfortable with the hit, with the way, like that shot that you think, wow, that was a great shot. That was a shot that I hit really well. How did you enter the ball? How did you exit the ball? And try to replicate that on every single shot that you...
All right, so just to end this video, of course there are many other factors that play into how well you're going to make contact with the ball. There's footwork, there's timing. Some people have better timing than the others. There's just hours on the court, how many hours you're playing, and just in general good hand-eye coordination. Some people have great hand-eye coordination, some don't. And there's a lot of things that play into having a good solid contact with the ball. But when you think about this concept of entering and exiting the ball the same way, and your way, the way that you feel comfortable with most of the time, it's going to allow you to actually forget a little bit about what's happening everywhere else and just move your feet to the ball, get behind the ball, and try to enter and exit the ball the same way. Yes, you're going to play a little more low to high if you want more top spin. You're going to play a little more through if you want to hit a little bit flatter. But those balls also will have their own entering and exiting the ball that you can just almost like imprint in your mind, that it's like, okay, if I want to hit a top spin ball high, this is the entering, this is the exit, and obviously the rest of the swing will kind of follow that. And if I want to hit flatter, it will be a little bit of different path, but it will be your path, and you have to learn where your path is. Film yourself from the side like I did. Pay attention to the shots that you hit well, like why did you think you hit well? What was the feeling that you had when you hit those good balls? What was the feeling that you had when you had those bad balls? Learn how to learn. Don't learn how to just listen to an instruction. Learn how to learn. And I think good contact, it just comes from, you know, paying attention to the ball, paying attention to what's happening in front of you, moving your feet, all those things combined with, you know, obviously decent technique is going to help. And if you're a beginner, really this video is not for you. You're still learning how to, you know, make a C shape. But if you are someone who's competing already and likes to play tournaments or, you know, club matches, whatever, I think it's not that hard to actually make contact with the ball as long as you're thinking about the right things. So this is it for this video. Thanks Walter for giving his time and knowledge to us here at My Tennis HQ. I think we're going to utilize this resource much more. I have always a great time working with him, and I think we can provide a lot more good information for you guys. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this format. I think I'm going to do a lot more where I just kind of go and practice and then break it down, that practice to you guys, just so I can, there's always, like, again, little nuggets of knowledge that, you know, you guys can pick up from watching someone, you know, at my level or, you know, a high level coach or whatever it is. There's always like little things that amateurs, high level juniors, even beginners can pick up from that. So let us know in the comments what do you think about this format. Visit mytennishq.com. We have a lot more articles going on there. It's actually, there's some cool stuff. Make sure you don't miss that out. Follow us on social media. And thanks for everyone that commented on my last post about what you were struggling on. And thanks to everyone that commented on my last post about what you're struggling on the court. I got a ton of great video ideas in there. I know some things can be very specific, but I really have now like a list of videos that I want to work in the future because you guys had some really good insight. So make sure you subscribe to their channel so you don't miss a lot of this instructional content that is coming out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.